Welcome along. My name's John, and I'm joined today by Dean Boyle. Dean, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Dean Boyle. As you said, thank you, John. My background is in the fitness industry. We are a service company in the UK. We've been operating now for nearly 25 years, up and down the country in vans, going direct to the gyms and recovering fitness equipment. So removing the old upholstery that's ripped and torn and replacing it with new. That over the years has been challenging, certainly more challenging now than it ever was. A lot of things that not for this podcast, but travel and everything else, and hotel and bills going up, etc. So it's more difficult for companies to get around now and do the job that we've been doing for 25 years.
Okay, cool. Excuse the music in the background. That was my 3D printer just finishing a print. But so you're in the business of gym upholstery. You've been an upholsterer for many, many years. Yeah. So things like roll cushions, adjustable benches, all of that sort of stuff, presumably.
Yeah, fitness equipment upholstery repair is the four words that took me a long time to realise that's what we did.
Okay.
So that's the easiest explanation.
That's great, thank you. I think this is a really important area. I was doing a little bit of research before we started this podcast, because I was curious as to what extent gyms are unhealthy places. If you think about the situation we had with COVID, I mean, well-being in gyms is much more on people's agenda now and on our minds. And when you consider cushions that are ripped. I mean, I've been in gyms both to use a gym and also to repair equipment from a service point of view, and the number of cushions that I see that are ripped, and not just ripped, but they're like totally destroyed, particularly like knee pads and that sort of thing. They've got great big sort of gouges in them where you can see where thousands of people's knees have been over probably many years. You've got head cushions that are cracked and and not just cracked, but you got rips in them, and you can see all of that padding and upholstery inside hanging out often. And not all gyms are like this, but I've seen enough to see that that this is a real problem. And I was doing a bit of research looking at, well, how can that transmit infections, for example, and it turns out that things like colds and flu, particularly at this time of year, we're recording this in December. Colds and flu obviously put a big drain on the NHS, but we've got skin infections, MRSA, sores, warts, rashes, herpes, ringworm, impetigo, and all of these infections are in the cushions.
John, it's not uncommon. The things that you've just mentioned there are not uncommon from the gym user. We've heard it, for years. This is a serious problem.
But surely, Dean, gyms are places where you go to keep fit and work out and be healthy. And yet, on the other hand, we've got this crazy situation where you're building up your health on the one hand, and on the other hand, you're putting yourself potentially at high risk of some sort of infection that at the very least is going to cause you time off work, and at worst wind up in hospital. Can't we have both?
Yeah, I mean, I could say this is the secret killer, but I don't want to warn anybody of going to the gym. It is a healthy place to be, and we do need to keep fit and healthy. But the thing is, it is, I mean, maintenance on the equipment, obviously. You got mechanical maintenance, which is bearings, springs and belts and things like that make the smoother operations and stuff, and the things work. But then the thing that you don't see is the seats. Well, I say you don't see them. You don't really pay attention to them. And certainly when I spoke to people over the years, I mean, you've obviously delved into this now, and you're seeing that. You probably notice when you do look for it, oh my God, you can see more of it. It's like when you buy that new car and you think nobody's got it, and then all of a sudden there's loads on road. But honestly, the equipment it wears out within. I mean, some of the pieces of equipment. I mean, even we use hardware and materials, etc. It can be 8 months on a piece of equipment. Ideally, the Bartec curl is probably the most used, obviously, and some of the adjustable benches. They wear out pretty quick. The Bartec curl, it can be 8 months. So certainly, look, within the 12 to 18 months, pretty much I don't know, certainly 2 years, 60% of the gym is going to get recovered. It's going to get replaced. There's thousands and thousands of people in the gym now on a weekly, daily basis. We have one gym, and I think it was something ridiculous. I'm not going to quote the figures, but I was shocked when the amount of people that went through that door on a daily basis. And they're using that equipment more than once. The people at the gym are going around. It's used thousands of times a day, these equipment. And yeah, the rips, and basically what happens is the material gets worn. There is microfiber elements in there for sort of health and hygiene. It does get worn off. The manufacturing material put this in there. It does get worn off, and you'll notice that the cloth goes shiny first of all. Then it goes brittle.
I've seen that.
So if everything's in the gym, and if you tap your back of your nails on it, you'll know when it's starting to wear out, and then it'll crack, and then it obviously harbors the sweat, which is the biggest problem of all, because it don't matter what cleaning fluid you or antibacterial things using, it's getting in the cracks, and that's when the problems really start.
Right.
And
okay.
it does want changing pretty fast, and hopefully as soon as you start to see the cracks, because there's foam under there. This is like a sponge. So when the cracks start appearing, the sweat starts going into the sponge. It holds it all. There's thousands and thousands of people. So
it doesn't matter how much you clean it. Then it's
no.
The bacteria is still going to be there. The bacteria is going to be growing, and then transferring user to user. Is that right?
It is, yeah. It is, yeah. I mean, you see people in the gym that are using towels that are safety conscious or health conscious on that, which is obviously a good thing. Normally the contact points where your head is, your elbows, your behind your knees, and a leg extension if you go to the gym. Then seats really do wear out quickly just behind the knees. People will be going around now looking at the gym and saying, but you'll see it, it's a thing, and we're not, we see it every day. So now you'll see it. But yeah.
So what are the telltale signs then, Dean? You've mentioned about it going shiny and hard. Is that really the point at which you should be planning to replace, or is it too far by that point?
No. As soon as it starts to go really shiny, don't matter what colour it is, neither you'll see it going darker colour, shiny, dark, and then it'll go hard and brittle. At that point, it needs replacing, because that's when the cracks start to appear. So before that, at that point, you need to be replacing this. Start
to plan it. Okay. So I mean, when you've got big players in the market like Pure Gym and the Gym Group and the David Lloyd, the chains who've got lots and lots of members, they're charging in the case of David Lloyd, for example, and the spa hotels, they're perhaps charging a premium. So for them, I'm not saying life is easy, but perhaps they do have the resources to go back to the manufacturer and say, look, just send us a new pad. And these pads are frighteningly expensive. I mean, I've looked at the prices of some of those, and you could be paying £200 or £300 for a single pad.
Yeah.
And you multiply that up by the number of pads per item around the gym, and you're into many, many thousands of pounds. So how can we help perhaps the underrepresented groups, perhaps the independent gyms who are, running their gym out of a passion, and they've got tight margins, perhaps the schools, the youth clubs, the boxing clubs, those sort of places. What should they do?
Well, I mean, I don't want to come on here and sort of promote my company or anything like that. But look, certainly if you're in the UK, Gym Upholstery and another, to be honest, a competitive company that's local to us, Gym Upholstery, Gym Wizard, we've been literally running the UK in this service for me 25, him 23, just behind me on that. But we're happy with neighbours, with friends. We don't we don't compete in that measure. But the reason we've been successful and still alive today is because where you said, I mean, I once quoted, I think it was something like 70% cheaper than manufacturers. So where we
70%, wow.
Which is a hell of a lot. So I mean, gymnasium users for that reason. Things have increased in price. but so as the manufacturers, So I mean, even if we're down to 60 now, 55, 60, it's a massive saving to get the job reupholstered. That's it.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, not to that. So we're both working a little bit together now on some projects. Myself, Jim Upholstery and Jim Wizard, because the demand is a lot more now. We at Jim Upholstery are manufacturing products now, which is the whole pads, because we can't get around fast enough to keep replacing the materials with 2 men in a van and getting around, and it's busier on the road. So we're doing more manufacturing, which we can just send direct out to the gyms. If gyms, ourselves, Jim Upholstery, we're working with Precore now on a daily basis for pure gyms, and they're all warranted. The manufacturers now, certainly Precore, they're offering now a 5-year warranty on their upholstery.
They really? Wow.
They see the benefits of this, and obviously the health reasons for this. So, I mean, hopefully the trend moves to other manufacturers, Life Fitness, don't they, Jim? And they provide it too, because if they provide that, that's great. Health and hygiene is optimized. So, for 5 years, and then is that the life of the equipment? Probably. So new equipment will come in, and that does solve a big problem.
That's a great idea. I used to do quite a lot of work with Pure Gym and the Gym Group, and this is going back maybe 4 years, 5 years. And at that time, we would be sent new parts, and then new cushions to fit. And this is the whole assembly, if you like. It's obviously the outer bit, the cushion, the board that it goes on, all the fixings. There's a lot of manufacturing that goes into those. And we would go out to site, and you think, it might take an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to a site. You're burning all that fuel. You go to site, you fit the pad, which generally, unless there's a bad fixing, will take you maybe 10 minutes. And then you pack your tools up and away you go. And all the scrap parts would come back, and they would go straight into landfill, because there was no recycling stream at the time. I don't know whether that's changed, but it was a phenomenal waste.
John, honestly, we've worked now with Precore for the last 2 years, I think it is now. Probably a little bit longer. And what we're doing now is we're manufacturing the whole product, because look, these products, the reason people wait all this time, everybody thinks, oh no, they're not doing anything about it. And gyms generally are, but they can't get the parts. They can't get the Life Fitness parts are coming. There's like a 3-4 months waiting list for these products.
Wow. Okay.
So the demand's there to recover them, obviously, which you can quickly do, which is great. But we're now producing products, and they're going out, let's say, daily to the sites, which is great. We've got a return service for that as well now. So the parts are actually returned. So the engineers fit the part, the full part, like you said, the foam board and everything. So it's quicker. They put the old parts in the box. They come back to us. We then assess them when they come back here. It's a lot better than obviously the on-site reupholstery.
Okay, so you can sort of remanufacture them, reuse the parts that are good, and put them back out in the market. Yeah. Okay. To what extent, Dean, do you think that people can do this themselves? I'm not an upholsterer at all. I'm an engineer. That's my background, and I draw a distinct line between being an engineer and being an upholsterer, because I know that I didn't cross that boundary. I couldn't. I tried to recover things, and I found it incredibly difficult. It was incredibly painful on my fingers when I tried to do it, to try and pull the material tight. I don't know how you get the material consistently tight. I was having trouble putting staples in and tacks and all sorts, trying to then secure it. And then I'd end up with this mess of underneath the pad where you're trying to bolt it down on the frame. There'd be this great big bulk of material and stuff, which then I tried to bolt it on, and the bolt wouldn't reach anymore.
I've got your answer.
I mean, is that typical of what, or is that just me being useless at upholstery?
No, that's absolutely typical, John. We do see it obviously going round to the gyms to an extent. They've tried doing.
You've probably seen some of my work, Dean. They've probably taken it off and thought, what was going on here? What was this guy doing?
Yeah, no, we have. So look, they'll try it once. They'll maybe try it again, and after that, it's like, okay, we need to call the experts. So then we go out and and pull off your mess and redo it properly. But look, I'm in this for the long term now. I'm 55 now, and the industry hasn't changed over the 25 years I've been working in it. Certainly in the service industry, both mechanical and sort of upholstery. So I keep thinking I've got to do something different. Anyway, so I do have a plan to help gymnasiums out, and anybody that really wants to get into this industry in upholstery, because look, the more people that are out there locally doing the gym upholstery service for the upholstery, on the padding, the easier access the gyms are going to get to, and if it's a local business and it's a one-man band, it's just got somebody working for him, it doesn't need as much margins and etc. And it's going to stay, relatively cheap for that service to happen, and they're going to make a nice, easy living out of it. So that's what I'd like to see. And we actually started a franchise in the gym upholstery. We had guys up here, and we took 2 weeks to train them. There's actually one guy out there in the market now who's doing the service that he come on board for franchisees, and he literally didn't take the franchisees. We helped him out, and he's still doing the service. So I personally am going to open a unit, if you will, a online workshop to actually teach how to do this job. Because if I'm going out there, I introduced an app, which if we've got time, we'll talk about, which is going to help the operators get hold of the suppliers to do the job. It can't be us running around doing everything. I understand that. I'm going to open up an online workshop and teach what I've been teaching for 25 years, really. We've taught our apprentices. We've had loads of apprentices come through here. With a big college next door. We used to operate the whole of the apprenticeship from here, so that the tutors used to come over here because you just need to walk across. So we will hopefully be starting an online workshop which people can obviously log into, pick up the tips and sort of community based on that level, which will help.
Sounds fantastic. It really does. I've got I run a level 1, 2, and 3 gym maintenance training course, and I've been running that for probably 9 years now, 10 years. And that's in much the same kind of thing. I'm just a little bit older than you, but I've sort of reached that point where I'm not able to kind of crawl around machines anymore and get down on my knees and be looking, my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. I need lots of light to be able to read things, and I've been thinking, but you've got all this knowledge up here, and it's about sort of sharing it and passing that on so other people can pick up and really make a start on that ladder, perhaps at a higher level than we were at when we started. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think you might find this as well if you've been doing that for 9 years. You can get 2 or 3 people, maybe even one at a time. You come through and okay, I'll teach you how to do it. You take the knowledge from what you've got here and deliver it to one person, and then okay, you can get 3. Okay, you can get 10 people in a group and try and do it in 10. But and then that's done, and then it's like, okay, well, maybe you need to do it again and again. So delivering or sort of operating an online workshop, whereas you can get that message, get that information, get that training down in format that can be used over and over again, then that's what I'd rather do, because my time on the earth is limited.
Let's move the conversation on before we get too depressed.
I'm not going anywhere.
I mean, cost of living's a big problem these days. I did run a gym for a very short period of time in 2012, and it ran for about 5 years, and we were basically squeezed out the market. And also I realized I'm not very good at running gyms. I think you've got to have a passion for it, and I've said I'm an engineer, and that's what I'm passionate about. But it was incredibly difficult running the gym because it's such a competitive marketplace. We were squeezed out by these 24/7 gyms, that I think at the time that they were charging like a £10 or £12 a month membership, and it was all brand new kit, going 24/7. And at the other end, we'd got a David Lloyd had opened up about a mile away in the other direction, and they were obviously providing some fantastic facilities with tennis courts and swimming pools and steam rooms and all the rest of it. All right, it was a little bit more than what we were charging, but we were kind of in that middle ground. We weren't one nor the other. And I appreciate there's probably a bunch of people out there who are in a similar situation, feeling the squeeze. They're seeing the overheads going up. They're seeing rises in the minimum wages. They're going to have to pay their staff more. Fuel costs, gas, electric, I'm talking about, but that's going up. How can we help, or how can you help those sort of people look after their gyms and maintain their gyms?
Well, I think back from the initial conversation, you said like you do it yourself, which is absolutely fine. The material vinyl upholstery, this can be obtained from local places, I'm sure. But you've got
to get the right specification, haven't you, for the material? Yeah. You can't just buy any old stuff off eBay, can you?
Well, you can do, but it's going to wear out quicker. It's as simple as that, And look, any new material applied, it is going to help. That's it,
Yeah.
As long as, make sure you take the old stuff off and put any vinyl. That's absolutely fine. They're just different grades. That's all. And obviously, when we're dealing with larger chains, with thousands, tens of thousands of people through the door, it needs to be hard wearing. So I think my advice to keeping the cost down, honestly, is certainly you've got the manufacturer's parts, which obviously you've explained is very, very expensive, and obviously that is a route, but obviously they've got a problem with the supply. So look for your local gym upholstery supplier. If you've got one nearby, I do have an app that's going to help with that, because the suppliers we're trying to get on board of the app. And
well, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about the app while you're mentioning it. Let me see if I can just share my screen.
Yeah,
let's get rid of that.
Thanks. I mean, it is not a plug for the app neither. We're just trying to help the fitness industry and get the services direct, to the user, really, to the gym operator. So they need to get hold of whoever's local, really. If it's non-local, certainly there's a couple of national suppliers, which I've mentioned, Gym Upholstery, Gym Wizard. That's fine. But,
so really, then they've got the control over this app. I mean, I'm guessing, looking at what's here, they can download it. They can upload photos then of what needs doing.
Yeah.
What are the next steps from that then?
Yeah. Well, look, the app's called Recopad, RECOPAD. You can download that from any app store, Google Play. It's for the gym operators. So any gym operator can download the app. Yeah. If you see that there, that's the front screen. You just press the middle button. It's the red one. It's to receive a quote. It's basically all that happens is it opens your camera, you take a picture. It's touch screen, so if you touch the yellow dots, which is indicated on the middle of the screen there, that if you obviously once you took a picture of the fitness equipment piece of machine, just tap on the pad that's required. Then it's just a case of select your supplier and your location.
So you can choose your own suppliers then, is that right?
You can do, yeah. Once you get to the page where the suppliers are, sponsored suppliers will be automatically, I think this is 1, 2, 3, maybe the 4th page there. It's very quick. It's only 5 pages in the whole thing. Basically, when you get to
choose your supplier.
When you get to the supplier page, if they're sponsored suppliers, they'll ping up there and you'll be able to select one. If there's not one there, don't worry about it. We're trying to get suppliers on board. Great for promotional for suppliers if they want to get on board. But at the bottom of the screen, it's add your own supplier. So literally, if you press that, you use Bob round the corner. Bob has an email address. Pop Bob's email address in there, and that's it. On the end screen, at the end screen, if you just showed it a minute ago, Yeah, about a quarter way down on the right hand side, there's a toggle button there, and that if you press that, you'd see your saved suppliers. So literally, and look, Bob don't have to pay anything. The gym has put you in and on his device. So if Bob supplies my gym, Bob can keep supplying my gym. He's on my app. He's in my pocket. When I need upholstery, I'll bring it out, take a picture, touch it, click Bob, and he gets the email. And the good thing about this, and the reason we introduced it, and I introduced it in 2018 for our services at Gym Upholstery, nationwide business, got very busy. We needed the information, how we see it, how we require. So we don't need a lot of information. We need what's in that app. So we need a good image, identify which pad, getting a picture on attached to an email and a descriptive text below is very, very confusing when you've got 10 of them.
Yeah.
When you've got 10 images and 8 descriptive titles, it don't match. So then you're back and forth for like 3 or 4 days. Which one? What's that? Then they send you other images and they don't match. It's a nightmare. So one, the app's great for the supplier, gives them the information they need, and the operator, it's just quick and easy while you're walking around the gym. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. Listen, Dean, I've got one final question for you. It's final thoughts, really. It's not so much a question, but thoughts. I was talking with some colleagues at NAFTA. They're the North American Health and Fitness Trade Association, and they put this question to me. So I'm going to put the question to you. See how you get on with this one. Good luck. We were talking about AI. I mean, AI is obviously it's something. I think it's, for me, it's something a bit like the internet way back when it first started. You're kind of aware of this thing, and you're kind of aware of what it can do, but we don't really know perhaps how it's going to affect us and impact our lives. But the question is, how do you see AI impacting, our world of gym maintenance and service provision? Do you see big changes on the horizon? Do you see it being a tool that's going to help us, or should we all be in fear of our jobs?
Funny enough, I've sort of been asked a question before, and the reason they asked is when I was promoting or explaining the app and how it works, and the person I was talking to said, "Oh yeah, it's great. Is this AI? It can do this and that." I was like, "What?" And we spent like years developing this app. It's not AI is not involved in the development of this app, but it does work in a way that, look, AI streamlines a production, I would say. So everybody talks about AI. Look, you've got sales and funnels and certain points of a business transaction that are automated. When I say automated, it's like your daily run and automatic speech, or you think bored because you say the same thing every day, or you do the same thing every day. Look, I used to work at a factory in automotive that had 1,250 employees on a production line.
You were doing the upholstery, presumably?
No, not then. No,
okay.
This is when I was only. Well, let's not talk about years, like a long time ago. But my mother came from the same place, the same factory. She worked there for 30 odd years. Some robotics and AI. I see AI as a bit of the same as automation, I would say. Do we need to be worried about our jobs? Look, if you're in an administration role, I'm hoping not going to scare anybody off here, but if you're in an administrative role and you see your repetitive duties all the time, yes, I'd be slightly worried, because that's an AI funnel tool integration. In the fitness industry, in the service sector, I don't see this having any effect, just making the suppliers and the manufacturers' jobs a little bit easier, which may bring costs down. So that's a good thing. I just think it'll help. I don't see any, and this is not me just like just because I'm in the service industry. I can't. Nobody's ever put something to me that's AR based, and I've been like, okay, that's going to be great. We can introduce that and get rid of that. No, it's a very different area. It's a manual service job, you know, and until Elon Musk gets these robots out doing our job, then and climbing under that bench to replace that upholstery piece, then it's not going to be anything to worry about.
Good. I'm pleased you said that, Dean. That's a very similar answer to what I give our colleagues in America.
All right. Yeah,
it's
great. It's great, and it'll make things a lot smoother, better, quicker, and make our jobs a bit easier. That have been manually based for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think there's a lot of nuances about working with your hands and doing practical things that involve dexterity and experience, and I think that's difficult. I mean, it's difficult to kind of write down, never mind turn that into some kind of automated process using robots.
I mean,
maybe it'll happen. But.
Yeah, I mean, once a day, like you even starting a business and sort of all the business plan. Look, the business plan. Oh man, can you remember doing one of them? Like now you just pop it into ChatGPT or the Google version, what it's called,
Gemini.
and hey, Gemini, and hey ho, there's your business plan. You want a logo?
Yep.
No problem. There's your logo.
It's absolutely.
It's absolutely brilliant, design wise. So, and if you're writing anything, I don't particularly use it myself. Not to write anything. I think I've had a couple of scripted AI ChatGPT. You can tell straight away. It's just not personal. You can tell.
Yeah, you're right.
Somebody can test me.
Yeah, you're right. We can spot it.
Yeah.
Dean, thank you ever so much for your time this afternoon. Really appreciate it, and I wish you all the very best with the app. What was the website again?
It's recopad.com. You find all the details.
Recopad.com.
Yeah, but you can download the Recopad app from the App Store.
Okay, and if people need any advice on their gym upholstery, can they come direct to you?
Yeah, of course they can. Yeah, I mean, we're a supplier on the app, so if you want to go to the app, make your life easier. It's easy to enroll the admin there. But you certainly email us. You can find us anywhere on Google. Gym upholstery does what it says on the tin, I think. There.
That's great. All right, thanks a lot, Dean, and thanks for listening. And we'll see you on the next podcast.
All right, John. Thank you very much.